I got a new toy. This is a Ibanez UB-804 bass. It's an electric bass. And I've played bass quite a bit. I have an upright bass that's over at the other place. And so I actually played bass in bluegrass bands more than I have played guitar in bluegrass bands. I played bass, and then mandolin, and then finally guitar. Nobody wants a lead guitar player because most of the guitar players sing, and I'm also kind of a utility player. So if a band needs a bass player, I am happy to step in and play bass. I enjoy playing bass. A lot of times when I go to a jam session or something, I play bass or mandolin, whichever, because I like to sit back and listen to everybody play. When you're a guitar player, you're kind of in the midst of it all. When you're on bass, you don't have to take breaks. You don't have to, and so you can just sit back and play with them, and you can listen to people. And so it's just a different perspective. But I enjoy playing bass. And so I played one of these at the Candyman in Santa Fe, New Mexico. And I thought, wow, this is really fun, It's just this little bitty thing here, right there. You can see my hand go to the top. And it's mounted on a Tama drum stand, right there. So it's mounted on that Tama drum stand, which is no big deal. Screws in. By no big deal, it's a common thing. So if you ever break this or something, you can just go buy another one and put it in there. But man, it's sturdy because it's made for drums. You screws in right here, and you adjust your height up and down to get where you want it. It's got volume and tone control over here, no big deal. Pickup jack back here. This is the 4-string model. There's a 5-string model, but honestly, for the kind of bass I do, you could do a 3-string model, and I'd be pretty happy. I have a friend, had a friend, he passed away recently, but Bill Bussman, down in Caballo, New Mexico, made mandolins, basses, things like that. And he was a great bass player. And he had a 3-string, 5-fret electric bass that he used. And I laughed at it, and I laughed at it. And then he said, yeah, I may have gone overboard with the 5 frets. Meaning he could have got with 3 frets. But his whole point of that kind of thing was to minimize an experience so that you could focus on playing within a limited amount of range rather than having a 15-string bass and all this huge range. And there's just a lot you can do with a very limited thing. So anyway, that's why I didn't get the 5-string, because I'm perfectly happy with the 4-string. I would throw the G string off of here and stick with, I could do a D and A strings. Most part. I like having the low E on there for things, but part is getting away from this. This is not an upright bass. If you think that this is going to be an upright bass, then you're wrong. There's other basses, electric basses, that fit that need. The scale ought to be down. The bridge ought to be down here. It ought to be another 4 or 5 inches down here. I don't know exactly what the scale is on my upright, but it's huge. But that's not what I wanted for this. This is just a comfortable, easy to play. It's the same scale as my electric, bass guitar. But on the bass guitar, it plays like a guitar. So it's heavy, and it's got this motion here, and that neck is long, and I'm clear out here trying to get that and balance that thing. I'm short, and trying to get that. You can get a short scale electric bass guitar, which I would like to have, actually. I just haven't got around to getting them. But the point is, I played this and I go, this is the same scale as my bass guitar, but I really like the upright position so much more. I just like this position so much more than this position. with the neck clear out here, you're going to bring the guitar over here or something like that, and it's just, I can do upright, or I can do electric bass guitar pretty good, but nah. And I've also had a fretless electric bass. I really heard the potential for certain kind of sounds that a fretless electric does, especially with flat wound strings on. I have flat wounds on my bass guitar. So I got to this and I'm like, wow, there's everything all together. It's a short scale, so it's easy for me to make those stretches with my, medium hand. It's easy for me to make those stretches. The action is very low. Obviously, you can put it where you want it. Comfortable. I'm not expecting it to sound like an upright bass at all. It's not. It's a short scale, fretless electric upright bass is what it is. And for that purpose, it's great. I got this on reverb.com, cost me about a grand, shipped. And the thing is this thing shipped to me from Utah. It was 3 degrees here. 3 degrees. It came in. And I had already seen this. I knew the finish was super thin. There's nothing that's going to get damaged by me opening it quickly. Like if it was a Martin guitar down here, I would open it very slowly. Like I would leave it alone, let it warm up so the finish didn't crack. This thing, it didn't make any difference. The finish is super thin, silky. There's really no lacquer on it. So I opened it up. And you know what? It was in tune. I could not believe it. I think I adjusted the D or the A string just a little bit. But for the most part, this thing was in tune. I thought, well, that is very impressive. I mean, for when I was playing in a bluegrass band in Colorado, we would travel to gigs and we'd be in a van and that kind of thing. And man, that upright bass takes up a lot of room. And I wish I would have had this for traveling, because this would have been so nice to put in there and request a bass amp, or even that. All I'm using here, and this amp gets a lot of bad flack, but I find it pretty useful for this purpose. And it is a Roland bass cube. Let's get over here. All of you bass players know all about this thing. It's got 4 tiny little speakers. What are these? 6 inches? 4 inches? 4 little bitty speakers. It's got some stuff on it. It's a modeling amp. But you know what the great thing about this is? It takes batteries and it's got a line out in the back. So, yeah, where's the line out? It's got a line out. There you go, recording out on phones. So this makes a great little travel amp. Runs on batteries, you can bust with the thing, which is really why I bought it, because I wanted a portable. I had another electric bass guitar, the one with the nylon strings on it. And the trouble with that one was the scale was just too short. And you also held it like a guitar kind of thing. What was it? What is that one? You guys know what I'm talking about. The Ashbury. The Ashbury. I had an Ashbury, and I used it with this, and it was pretty good. But this is better, because this does have the longer scale. It does have the more upright position. It is more like an upright bass, but yet has that shorter scale on it. So I used the Ashbury for this, and it was great, because that was a good traveling rig that you could take into a motel room. It took up no space at all. The case like this, that little amp, battery powered, and like I said, you could do bussing gigs with it, which I did a couple times. This would be better, but I'm running it through that. You could take this, the stand, and go and request a bass amp wherever you went, because a lot of venues have them, somebody's having, or carry that little guy and use the line out and go to the PA. It's got plenty of volume for this purpose. It can get as loud as my upright bass would be acoustically. And then, of course, I'm going to mic the upright bass, stick a mic in there, pad it with foam, which is really the best way I found to do it. I have pickups on it too, but sticking a mic down there gave you the traditional bluegrass sound. You mic this little amp, you'd be in the same situation as you would be with the upright bass, but it's travelable. So if you really want that long feel, you're going to get a Clevenger. You're going to get some of the more expensive $2,500, $3,000 long scale with the fancy preamps in them that model the sound. You're going to get a fairly good upright bass sound out of that. But the instant you add a pickup to anything, that's it. It's not acoustic anymore. It sounds like a pickup. No matter how good it sounds, unless you start using a modeling deal, which is going to come out of something or another. Anyway, you can model this one to sound like an upright. I think the settings I have here sound pretty good. So, anyway, here it is. I'm pretty happy with it. I've been playing quite a bit on the bass, and what I do is I put the stereo on, I put the TV on. See, big TV right over here. And this is my little man cave, So I put the TV on, turn the sound off, put the closed captioning on, put the stereo on, running through Bluetooth on Amazon, and I just set some sort of playlist up. My favorites, which is going to have anything from, it's going to have Tom Petty, it's going to have the Rolling Stones, it's going to have 1,000 different blues guys on it, and then it's going to have Flat and Scruggs on it, it's going to have Tony Rice on it, and that thing plays, and I just play with it. First thing, I try to forget what key we're in, because the rock and roll stuff is new to me. Tom Petty, Rolling Stones, the blues stuff is I'm fairly capable of that. I mean, I'm familiar enough with blues patterns that I get along with that. I can play the blues stuff fairly well. I know where those notes are. The rock and roll stuff is different though, and so it's fun. It's education. I found out with rock and roll, I'm actually getting some tabs to look at the tabs to make sure I'm sort of doing it right, and I'm finding out that there's just a lot of repeated notes, which I wouldn't. As a bluegrass guy and country guy, I'm doing root 5, etc. And the rock and roll thing is different, Perfectly good rock and roll because it matches with the drummer. And that's the thing we never have in bluegrass. You don't have that drummer. And the interplay between the bass and the drums is what I really, really like. So when you listen to Stevie Ray Vaughan, Stevie was terrific. But in my humble opinion, it's Double Trouble that allowed him to bloom. So if you go back and listen to, say, Jimi Hendrix, listen to Jimi Hendrix, which everybody has, right? And you got Noel Redding and you got Mitch Mitchell over there. And to me, the Hendrix backup was too busy. It was like they were like, oh man, we gotta match Jimmy, we gotta make all this noise. And they're so busy that it distracts from what Jimmy was doing. But when you get to Stevie Ray, for instance, they've grown up a little bit, they've listened to the music for another 30 years, and you've got Chris Slayton and Tommy Shannon, and they back off and they give Stevie all this room to do his thing, and that's the rhythm sound that I like. And so I'm learning Tommy Shannon stuff because I want to see what it is that he's doing in there, because I don't know. I mean, I hear it, but it goes in with the whole thing of the whole sound of the whole band, and so to look at some of his parts and things and think, what is he actually doing there? So that's the kind of thing that I'm doing on bass. This is perfect for that. It's here, standing up, plugged in. All I got to do is turn the amp on, and I'm playing. I don't have to get a bunch of stuff out, and I don't even have to take the guitar off the wall. You know what I mean? I mean, that's just a small thing. To take an instrument off the wall is not a big thing, but to have your bass standing here ready to go at any time. It's cool, you know. I played a lot more for that reason. Even if I just sit there and doodle something, you know, like that, you know. Just something like that. Might be the only thing I do. I'm just trying to get good tone. One thing about this that I've noticed on the upright bass, I would put my thumb on the edge of the fingerboard and I would play, but I have more scale in between there, and so consequently more tension on the notes. And the first thing I did with this, if you get too up here, you're going to get that terrible note. That note. And I started getting that, and I'm like, man, what's going on? I mean, I got plenty of action, and I realized that I'm playing the nodes right there that are making it vibrate right here. So if you move your hand down and get down here to the tighter part of the string, of course that goes away, which every bass player in the world really actually knows except me. But I need a rest down here because I'm at the end of the fingerboard, and so I need an extension here. You can come to the body, but I need a consistent place to put my thumb. And I might end up putting a little bit of something in there that I can feel, so that I know I'm in the place. Because my tendency is to come up here. I've played upright bass for so long that I want to feel that fingerboard. And when I come up and do that, the scale gets a little short, the strings get bouncy, and you get that flubby sound. Might raise the action on that, I don't know, but that's my only thing about this, is that still learning to play this thing. I really need to get my hand down to into the fingerboard here. There it is, see? So on this bass, I kind of do that, is learning the instrument as to when I'm going to get those flubby notes, and I don't want to get those flubby notes. So when I practice, I might just do that. Anyway, it's good bass. The neck is big, fat, chunky. I mean, it definitely feels like an upright bass neck to me. It feels like mine, much more so than a bass guitar neck. And my bass guitar has a jazz neck on it, so it's got a narrow neck on it, which is good. But I sure like the chunky neck for this upright feel. The neck feels terrific. The tuners are pretty decent. Strings around here. The nut spacing is really good. It's just set up really good. And for $1,000, I'm impressed with it. And then the saddle adjusters down here, just your typical thing with little Allen wrenches, moving there, screw them around, get your action where you want. I have not touched it. I'm playing around to decide if I want to raise that action or not, or if I want to keep that. So happy with this bass, really like it. So this is just to show you my new toy, and maybe you've never seen one, maybe you've never played one or something. If you get a chance to play one, try it out, but do not expect it to be an upright bass. It's not an upright bass. It is an upright, fretless, electric bass guitar that takes some characteristics from an upright bass. How's that?